Welcome back to the Choose on Purpose podcast, where we live with intention. I'm Becky Plouts, your host, here to guide you through another empowering episode designed to elevate your mindset and your message. If you tuned into our last episode, From Possible to Power, it was really owning your space as a goddess leader. If you tuned into that episode, thank you so much. I hope you found it valuable. I've heard from some of you, and it means the world to know that the episode resonated with you and that the energy that's put into showing up and bringing content out, that someone who is listening, who it is impacting, is always such a compliment to know that it's making its way to you. So thank you for those of you who've already reached out and let me know that owning your space episode last week really impacted you and empowered you and inspired you. And I would love to see more of the feedback. I would love to hear from you. Today we're going to dive into another critical aspect of leadership and personal growth, how to authentically show up for yourself and others by elevating your message, the way that you speak, the mission that you're on, the things that you're doing, the way that you talk about it and share about it and show up for it. I want to talk about how to authentically show up more for yourself, because when we do that for others, and that is powerful. That is what we talked about last week, right? Turning potential can happen because we are showing up authentically and we're able to share our messaging authentically. And whether you're leading a team or growing a business or simply navigating your personal journey, your message is the core of who you are and what you represent. So, leader, mama bear, empire builder, it's all of it, right? But it's not just about what you say, it's about how you live it, how you share it, and the way that we translate it across every place, platform, right? That we live on, that we touch. And if you're watching the video, good morning. Hello. All right. We're going to talk about the power of clarity. And the first step in elevating our message is gaining absolute clarity, knowing what we stand for, knowing who we are, what our core values are, and how they align with our message that we want to share, who we are, that we want the world to know. And when I say world, it can be just the people that you speak to, right? This is your world, your message, your life. So the first step is really elevating your message and gaining that absolute clarity in who you are, what you stand for, what your values are, what aligns with you. So think about that. If you had to sum up your message in one sentence, could you do it? Your message is like a lighthouse, guiding others to understand exactly who you are and what you stand for. So, what's the spark? Who are you? What do you stand for? It's the foundation upon what else is built, everything else that's built around you for you. If you're unsure of your message, take some time to reflect. What are you passionate about? What drives you? What do you want others to feel after they interact with you? What do you want people to know about you when they interact with you? What do you want others to do after they interact with you? Do they feel enriched, empowered, inspired? Do they feel drained? Do they feel unseen or unheard? Right? Knowing what drives you helps you show up as your best self, helps you be you, your best you, everywhere you go, everyone you touch, speak with, share your message with, hear their message, right? What drives you? Think about it. What are you passionate about? And what do you want others to feel, to know, and to do after interacting with you? Gain clarity in your message, right? It helps. And those who follow you or those who work with you and look to you for leadership, they know exactly what to expect and what to look for. And that consistency builds trust. Yeah, builds trust, right? So having the clarity, that's power. Evaluating your messaging and gaining clarity in that. So what do you stand for? Okay. Now, owning your story, once you have that clarity, it's time to own your story. So this is where the magic happens. Your story is unique. Okay, no one else can tell it the way that you can. It's the experiences, challenges, it's the victories, the wins, the triumphs that have shaped who you are, the way that you moved forward with that experience. Your story is the bridge that connects your message to your audience, your people, your world. But here's the catch. You have to be willing to show up authentically. That means sharing the highs and the lows, the victories and the struggles, right? Those challenges, being able to share them. And this is part of owning it, is sharing both, some struggles, some victories. The authenticity isn't about being perfect. It's about being, it's about being real. When you share your true self, you guide others to knowing that they can stay away from needing a permission slip, that they can do it their way, that it's true for them. And there you go. You give others the permission to do the same because they see you being real versus perfect. And that's where deep, meaningful connections are made. They're forged, they're built because truth is truth and real is real. And when you show up as your authentic self, it isn't about being perfect, it's about being real. When you share your true self, you give others the permission to do the same. And when we all do that, we build stronger connections. So, how do you own your story? Right? Start by embracing it and really lean into it. The vulnerable pieces where people can really connect, those are often the pieces that resonate the most, right? Because there's connection that's happening when you embrace it. So share your journey, with confidence and know that it's for someone to hear how to support them and empower them. Watch how it transforms your ability to connect and lead with the people, yourself included, because of that connection, because of you owning your story. They'll see that more clearly, right? And then taking the message, taking who you are everywhere, right? As authentic. Take it to your social medias, take it to your family, your leaders, your communities, your clients. Now that you've gained the clarity and you can own your story because you have that clarity, let's talk all about how to translate your message across different spaces, right? Whether it is social media or your website or a podcast or even in-person interactions, your message is really in need of being consistent and aligned. This is exactly where I'm at right now with doing the podcast and staying consistent and aligned and focused on the messaging to share with you about how to start doing this for yourself. It's about finding the way that best communicate and resonates with your audience and the platform and the places that you want to be, and always keeping your authentic voice at the forefront. Okay. So there's a break in the show because I could hear my family in the house. And the next line of my notes for this episode says people can spot inauthentic communication a mile away, and it will undermine the trust that you build, was the note that I have in my episode notes. So I wanted to pause and just recollect because I was losing track of my thought. And I want to be real and authentic through and through with this podcast, with everything that I'm doing with myself and with building a foundational trust with you. So, talking about translating our message and how we come across in the places that we choose to show up and share our story and with that clarity. Okay. So I'm going to reiterate that whether it's social media or a podcast or your website or even the in person interactions, right? The way that we speak about who we are and what we're here to do, so to say, is consistent. It's aligned. And I want to just say, like, some of the examples for being um focused on like a social platform is that you may present yourself on Instagram, right? But that might be more visual. While on LinkedIn, I'm learning that's the more professional and more detailed. And I'm practicing showing up there personally more. And because I'm speaking to leaders, and I love the idea of Instagram for the visual, of course, because I'm a photographer. But remember that it's not about changing your message to fit the platform. It's about finding the way to best communicate it in a way that resonates with your audience and on which platform, right? So the point was always be authentic in the way that you're sharing and um, build that trust on in the places that you choose to share, right? So, actionable steps for elevating your message that I want to share is to really reflect and define. So, spend some time, right, with those core values, with your passion. Write down what you want your message to be and how it aligns with who you are. Okay. Then craft your story, right? Outline your personal story. Identify those key moments that have really shaped you and consider how they connect to your message now. There's a connection through and through in these things. So the next part is to consistency, right? Build consistency. The consistency is key. So the third part, if I'd name these off, so one was to reflect and define. Two is to craft your story. Three is consistency is key, right? Take a look at the platforms that you're using, the places that you're showing up to communicate your message. And are you being consistent across all of them? I'm not being consistent over all of them. I'm practicing. This podcast is one of them. Putting out this content for you every week is one of my consistency builders right now, right? Make the necessary adjustments for where you want to build consistency and give it attention, give it energy, give it focus. Fourth would be to engage with intention, right? Interact with the audience in a way that reinforces your message. So, those of you that reached out to tell me that you listened to the Goddess Leader episode last week, and I'm bringing it up now on this episode. This is a way that I'm engaging with you as my audience, right? Part of my focus is to engage with you in an authentic way and listen to the responses and give more of what you want and what you need and what I can do, right? So, how are you engaging with intention to the people that you are supporting? And the fifth one would be to be open to the evolution, right? Your message is going to evolve as you grow, and that's okay. It's necessary, it's on purpose, right? Because when we grow, things change. And staying true to your core and knowing your values and all of those things that we're talking about, and being open to shifting that, natural occurrence over time is really important so that we stay fluid and in flow, you know, with the evolution of who we are as a leader, as a mama bear, as a vampire builder, like being adaptable and growing with the energy and what's working and, strengthening. And it's really important to be open to that, to really elevate your message so that, the things that want to show up for you, you're giving it energy so that it can, right? So that it can show up. And yeah. So I want to wrap this up. I want to say thank you for joining this episode for the Choose on Purpose podcast. I hope that you're feeling inspired and ready to elevate your message in a way that's authentic to you and impactful to those that you serve and the people that you share with. So remember that your message is your power and own it, right? Share it, let it guide you in everything that you do. If you found value in today's episode, I'd love to hear, I'd love for you to hear, or I'd love for you to share it with someone who could benefit from it. So, not with me, but like someone else, right? Don't forget to subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Give it a rate and a review on the podcast platforms. And your feedback really helps me reach more people and continue to deliver the content that fuels your purpose. Because when you tell me that it resonates with you and that you paid attention, right, that's exactly what it does. It tells me that it fuels your purpose. Until next time, Keep showing up and sharing your message. And remember that you have everything you need to be the leader you're meant to be. Here's to choosing on purpose and living with intention. Thank you for listening. I'm Becky Plouts, the host of the Choose on Purpose podcast. Thanks for listening. Love yourself, live fearlessly, and do all things with purpose.